Have you ever noticed subtle changes in a loved one's behavior, like sleeping more, eating less, or pulling away from social gatherings, and wondered if it's just aging or something deeper? This could be silent warnings that medical experts from Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic say appear up to 6 months before the end of life. In this video, we'll reveal 7 critical signs that could indicate your loved one has only months left, empowering you to provide better care and make every moment count. You'll need to watch until the end because these sign is so commonly overlooked by experienced nurses, yet it's one of the most reliable indicators of life's final chapter. According to hospice specialists, this knowledge could transform how you support your loved one, ensuring their comfort and dignity in their most precious final moments. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you'll like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you'll subscribe and turn on the bell so you didn't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you didn't like it, comment number 02. Let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Sign 1: dramatic changes in sleep patterns. One of the most telling signs that an elderly person may be approaching the end of life is a dramatic change in their sleep patterns. This isn't simply about feeling a bit more tired than usual or struggling with occasional sleepless, which can be common with aging. Instead, this refers to extreme alterations, such as sleeping 15 or more hours a day or experiencing significant restlessness at night that disrupts their usual routine. These changes signal that the body may be entering its final stages, preparing for a natural transition by conserving energy and redirecting it toward essential physiologic processes, according to research from Harvard Medical School's Division of Geriatrics. These shifts occur because the body begins to prioritize energy allocation for critical functions, while neurologic changes disrupt the brain's regulation of the sleep-wake cycle. Dr. Susan Michela, leading geriatrician at Harvard, noticed that this often manifests as excessive daytime sleeping paired with nightimagiototion, a pattern recognized by medical professionals as a hallmark of end-of-life processes. The brain's circadian rhythm, which governs the natural cycle of sleep and wakefulness, becomes increasingly erratic as various bodily systems begin to slow down or shut down entirely. For example, consider Harold, a 78-year-old from Tennessee, who had always been an active participant in his daily routine, particularly enjoying his afternoon television shows. Over a few weeks, his family noticed he was napping through these programs and eventually sleeping up to 18 hours a day at night. However, he was restless, often staying awake for hours, which left both him and his caregivers physically and emotionally exhausted. His daughter initially chalked it up to boredom or a temporary phase, but a medical evaluation reveals that Harold's body was entering its end-stage processes. These changes in sleep patterns are often subtle at first, folding over weeks or months, which makes them easy to dismiss as normal fatigue or aging. However, ignoring the signs can lead to missed opportunities to adjust care routines, provide comfort measures, or prepare for the transition ahead. Families often face significant challenge when sleep patterns shift dramatically, as it disrupts their schedules and increases stress. Recognizing these changes early allows families to create a more supportive run tailored to their loved one's needs. For instance, adjusting daily routines to accommodate increased time sleeping or addressing nighttime restlessness with calming strategies can make a significant difference. Medical professions recommend keeping a detailed log of sleep patterns using a simple notebook or a phone app to track the number of hours slept during the day and night, as well as any notable deviations from the person's usual routine. If these changes persist for more than a week, it's critical to share this information with a healthcare provider promptly to discuss potential end-of-life care adjustments, acting quickly by documenting and addressing these Changes ensures that families can provide comfort and support during the sensitive time. Start monitoring. Today's time is a precious resource in Thiasmints. Sign to loss of interest in food and significant weight loss. Another critical indicator of approaching end of life is a pronounced loss of interest in food, often accompanied by significant unintentional weight loss. This goes far beyond the occasional distrust in meals that can come with aging or temporary illness. When an elderly person stops enjoying their favorite dishes, perhaps turning away from a beloved homemade lasagna, or declining dessert they've cherished for years, it may signal a deeper shift. This loss of appetite can progress to a near-complete disinterest in eating, resulting in weight loss of 10 pounds or more without any intentional dieting, according to specialists at the Mayo Clinic's End-of-Life Care program. This change occurs because the digestive system slows dramatically as part of the body's natural dying process. Dr. Jennifer Rodriguez, a palliative care expert at Mayo Clinic, explains that during the end stages of life, the body's metabolic meds decrease significantly, rendering food less appealing or even unpleasantness isn't a matter of stubbornness, deprius, or a passing phase. It's a biological shift where the body redirects energy away from digestion. Top reserve resources for vital functions. Take the case of Ethel Ann, 82-year-old from Michigan, who had spent 60 days hosting vibrant Sunday family dinners, complete with her famous homemade apple pie. Her family grew concerned when she began pushing her plate away after just a couple of bites and stopped asking about dessert altogether. Within 2 months, Ethel had lost 15 pounds, a change her family initially attributed to stress origin despite their attempts to coax her with her favorite foods. A medical evolution confirmed that Ethel was in her final months, and her loss of appetite was a natural part of this process. Ignoring these signs can delay critical care decisions, leaving families focused on forcing nutrition rather than prioritizing comfort and emotional connection. When families fail to recognize appetite loss as a sign of end-of-life progression, they often expend energy worrying about calorie intake or attempting to reverse weight loss, which can lead to frustration for both the individual and their caregivers. Medical professions emphasize that understanding this as a natural process allows families to shift their focus to providing emotional support and ensuring dignity instead of pressuring their loved one to eat. Families can offer small portions of comforting familiar foods without expectation, creating moments of connection rather than conflict. Keeping a simple food diary to track daily intake and noting weekly weight changes can help families monitor situation and share accurate information with healthcare providers. Documentation ensures proper care planning and helps set realistic expectations for eating during this stage. Don't dismiss appetite loss as a normal part of aging act. Promptly to understand the underlying cause and digest care accordingly. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 Abello to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Sign through increasing social withdrawal and disengagement. A noticeable withdrawal from social interactions and activities were once cherished can be a profound sign that an elderly person is preparing for the end of life. This isn't merely a bad mood or temporary distrust, but a deeper psychological shift where the individual begins to turn inward, disconnecting from external relations and social obligations. For Somion, who was once the life of Theparty or a regular at family gatherings, she's change can be startling. They may stop calling friends, decline invitations, or show little interest in events. Thatons brought them joy. Research from Johns Hopkins University's Palliative Care program indicates that this social withdrawal serves a critical psychological purpose, Alun Gindavals, to conserve emotional and physical energy for internal reflection and spiritual preparation. Dr. Michael Chain, a palliative care specialist at Johns Hopkins, explains that this disengagement helps individuals release earthly attachments, gradually reducing emotional turmoil as they approach their final transition. Consider Franklin, a 76-year-old from Ohio who had faithfully attended Weekly poker games with his friends for 25 years and never missed his grandson's baseball games when he suddenly stopped returning phone calls and declined invitations to family gatherings. His loved ones assumed he was simply having a rough month, however. 6 months later, a medical evaluation confirmed that Franklin's body was preparing for the end of life and his social withdrawal was an early catastrophe. This natural process when families mentored this withdrawal as personal rejection or depression. They may feel hurt or push their loved one to engage, which can create unnecessary stress. My stress recognizing this behavior as part of the end-of-life process allows families to offer support without pressuring their loved one to maintain previous social obligations. Healthcare providers recommend gently encouraging connection, while respecting the individual's need for solitude. Low-pressure opportunities, as brief visits or short phone calls, can maintain emotional close-ends with it. Overwhelming the person families held, focus on quality time rather than expecting their loved one to participate in large gatherings or high-energy activities by offering understanding and patience. Families can create a supportive environment that honors their loved one's emotional needs during this time. If you notice increasing social withdrawal, reach out with compassion toward, as these moments of connection are a deeply meaningful sign for unusual confusion or mental changes. Sudden or unusual mental changes, such as increased confusion, vivid conversations with deceased loved ones, or dramatic shifts in personality, can indicate that the brain is preparing for the end of life. These changes are distinct from the gradual progression of dementia and may include disorientation about time or plus conversations with people who have passed away, or personality shifts that seem out of character for someone with a consistent, lifelong demeanor, according to neurological studies from the Cleveland Clinic. These changes stem from decreased oxygen flow to the brain and metabolic shifts that alter cognitive processing. Dr. Patricia Williams, neurologist at the Cleveland Clinic, notes that these experiences often serve a comforting psychological purpose, providing individuals with a sense of peace or connection as they near the end of life. For example, someone might describe seeing or speaking with a deceased spouse in a way that feels vivid and meaningful to them. Take Vernon, an 80-year-old from Florida, who began having detailed conversations with his late wife Martha. He described her presence in the room and shared messages she wanted to convey to their family. Initially, his children feared dementia, but Vernon remained lucid about current events and family matters between those episodes. A medical evaluation confirmed that these experiences were part of high end-of-life preparation, not cognitive alone. When families misinterpret the set changes as medical emergencies, they may pursue aggressive treatments that aren't appropriate, or beneficial understandings shifts as a natural part. A teething process allows families to respond with calm support rather than fear. Healthcare professionals advisors pending to unusual statements or behaviors without arguing or correcting those. These experiences can be deeply meaningful to the individual. Document specific episodes, including times and details, to share with healthcare providers for accurate assessment. Reading a peaceful environment that accommodates these experiences while ensuring safety can help ease that transition. If you notice these cognitive changes, document them immediately and consult with medical professionals to ensure proper care and understanding. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video. If me, thank you for your valuable time. Sign 5. Decreased mobility and increased weakness. A marked decrease in mobility and physical strength is another critical sign that an elderly person may be nearing the end of life. This isn't the gradual weakening associated with aging, but a rapid, profound loss of energy that makes even simple tasks like walking across a room or lifting a cup exhausting or impossible. This weakness often progresses over weeks or months, significantly impacting independence and daily activities. According to findings from the American Geriatric Society, This decline occurs because the body redirects energy away from muscle function to prioritize vital organ systems. Dr. Robert Thompson, a geriatric specialist, explains that muscles begin breaking down protein reserves to support essential functions, leading to rapid strength loss that susceptible aging patterns. For example, Carmen, a 9-year-old from Texas, Hotelways, been active walking to her mailbox and tending her small garden last spring. She suddenly needed help getting out of her chair and struggled to lift even light objects. Her family initially thought better nutrition might help, but a medical evaluation revealed though her body was entering its end stages, causing rapid muscle weakness. Signaling these signs can increase safety risks, such as falls, which can accelerate and cause preventable injuries. Families who expect their loved one to maintain previous activity levels may inadvertently create frustration or harm. Medical professionals stress that recognizing decreased mobility allows families to create safer environments by removing fall hazards and arranging supportive equipment like grab, bar shower chairs, or walkers. Accepting help with daily tasks and focusing on comfort rather than pushing for independence can improve quality of life during this stage. Make safety changes immediately to prevent falls and consult with healthcare providers to ensure appropriate care adjustments. Acting promptly ensures your loved one's safety and comfort during this critical time. Sign 6: changes in breathing patterns. And of the more discernible signs of approaching end-of-life stages is a significant alteration in breathing patterns, which should not be dismissed as a mere consequence of aging or overlooked as insignificant. The set changes may manifest as irregular breathing, alternating periods of rapid shallow breaths, followed by slower deeper ones, or episodes of unexpected drowsiness even during periods of rest. Families might notice extended pauses between breaths known as apnea, or hear labored wheezing or gurgling sounds that differ markedly from the individual's usual breathing rhythm. Initially, these changes may be subtle, perhaps only noticeable during quiet moments or sleep, but they tend to become more pronounced and frequent as time progresses. According to the National Hospice Foundation, shifts in respiratory patterns are reliable indicators of end-of-life progression as breathing affects the overall efficiency of the body's vital systems, particularly the heart and lungs. Dr. Linda Garcia, a respected authority from the National Hospice Foundation, explains that these irregularities arise because the heart and lungs begin to function less effectively. As the body's energy reserves dwindle, this decline leads to characteristic breathing patterns that medical professionals recognize as hallmarks of end-stage processes. Unlike acute respiratory distress that might warrant emergency intervention, the set changes often represent the body's natural adaptation to reduced organ function and should not be mistaken for conditions requiring aggressive treatment. Instead, they signal a need for comfort-focused care to ensure the individual's ease and dignity. Considers case of Raymond, a resident of Georgia, whose family observed a distinct shift in his breathing patterns during his afternoon naps. Raymond began exhibiting rapid breathing for several minutes, followed by slow labored breaths with noticeable pauses. His wife, alarmed by his struggle for air despite his inactivity, sought medical advice. A consultation revealed that these respiratory changes were indicative of Raymond's body entering its final stage, prompting a shift toward palliative care, focused on comfort rather than curative measures. This approach reoriented Raymond's quality of life, ensuring he remained as comfortable as possible. Failing to recognize these respiratory changes can delay families from seeking appropriate palliative or hospice support, potentially leading to unnecessary medical interventions that may cause discomfort without improving the individual's condition. Many families unfamiliar with the natural progression of end-of-life stages may misinterpret these changes as emergencies, leading to undue stress and aggressive treatments that do not align with the individual's healthcare providers. Emphasize a thought. Acknowledging these breathing changes allows families to focus on comfort measures such as adjusting the individual's position to ease breathing fans or open windows for better air circulation or administer chicks, as prescribed to alleviate addressed to support loved. Honest effectively families should meticulously monitor breathing patterns, noting details, such as the frequency depth and any unusual sounds like rattling or wheezing. These observations should be promptly reported to healthcare providers, who can offer tailored incidents. Consulting with palliative air specialists can provide additional strategy, such as the use of supplemental oxygen or relaxation techniques to enhance comfort during episodes of breathing difficulties. Should focus on providing calm reassurance and physical presence, avoiding panic, as these changes are often part of the body's natural progression. By maintaining open communication with medical professionals and documenting changes daily, families can ensure their loved one receives compassion, appropriate care tailored to their needs. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment. Number 3. Below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 7. Disoreto, resolve unfinished business, and a third profound sign of nearing the end of life is an urgent desire among elderly individuals to address unresolved matters, whether emotional, relational, or practical. This drive often manifests as a sudden need to distribute cherished possessions to specific individuals, offer apologies for past grievances, or engage in meaningful conversations that have been postponed for years. Unlike routine estate planning or casual decluttering, this behavior reflects a deep psychological and emotional preparation for the end of life, driven by an innate need to achieve closure and peace. Hospice care specialists across country report that this urge to settle unfinished business is a common and significant aspect of the dying process, as individuals seek to reconcile relationships, share untold stories, or ensure their legacy is passed on in a meaningful way. Dr. Amanda Foster, a hospice specialist with over 3 decades of experience, explains that this behavior serves critical psychological health ends by addressing unresolved issues. As individuals can reduce anxiety, find emotional resolution, and approach their final days with greater acceptance and tranquility. Research supports this, indicating that those who complete their unfinished business, whether by mending familiar rifts or imparting final words of wisdom, experience less distress and a greater sense of fulfillment in their final weeks. This process is not about dwelling on the past, but about creating a sense of completion that allows the individual to transition with dignity. Take the example of Lawrence, a Nevada resident, who after years of estrangement felt an overwhelming need to reconnect with his brother, with whom he had not spoken in 15 years over a long-forgotten family dispute. Lawrence also began thoughtfully distributing his cherished woodwork tools to neighbors and grandchildren, explaining the significance of each item and why it belonged with each recipient. Initially, his family mistook these actions as signs of depression or confusion, but they soon realized Lawrence was intentionally preparing for his final months. By facilitating these actions, reaching out to his brother, and ensuring his possessions were given to those who cared about, Lawrence achieved a sense of peace and closure that enriched his remaining time. When families overlook or dismiss these requests as morbid or unnecessary, they risk missing opportunities for meaningful connection and closure, which can lead to lasting regret for both the individual and their loved ones. Many families uncomfortably the idea of death may misinterpret these efforts as pessimism rather than recognizing them as a healthy and natural part of psychological prana. Medical professionals stress that supporting these endeavors provides immense comfort, allowing individuals to feel heard and fulfilled as they approach the end of life. To honor these wishes, families should listen attentively to their loved ones' requests, whether they involve facilitating fixed conversations, contacting caring relatives, or distributing possessions according to specific instructions. Even if past relationships have been strained, families should assist with practical arrangements with side judgment, recognizing the profound importance of these actions, encouraging and documenting stories, memories, or Advice the individual wishes to share can also create lasting connections, serving as precious final gifts for surviving family members. Acting promptly is crucial, as these opportunities for meaningful closure may not be available tomorrow. By supporting these efforts, families can help ensure their loved ones' final days are marked by peace, dignity, and a sense of completion. As we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What have you learned from these 7 silent signs that could indicate a loved one is nearing the end of life? Maybe it's recognizing the importance of tracking sleep patterns, understanding appetite loss as a natural process, or honoring a loved one's desire. Resolve unfinished business. Please share one key takeaway in the comments below and tell us how you plan to bring it into practice in your life to provide more compassionate care. Your story could inspire others facing similar moments. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more essential guidance to support you and your loved ones through life's most precious